Here we go. Hey, what's going on? It's Mario, Final Approach, new FA podcast about to start. And before we do, we always thank our partners who keep us going. And we actually have one of our partners today. So we'll thank Federal Ammunition. That'll be first. And talk to Josh here in a minute. And then, of course, we got Roger Sporting Goods. We got Weatherby. We have Loophole. And a new one this year for us, which is cool, is Dogtra. On the dog side of things, which is cool. And of course, Tyler up at Saskatchewan Goose Company up in Canada. Um, so we got Josh Vickers. So Josh, give me your actual title because I know things are changing and stuff goes on, but you fire away, Bubba.
Yeah, no, so I'm the Shotshell Product Line Manager. And essentially what that means is, I kind of manage the catalog, run the roadmaps, looking into the future, what your product's going to handle, stuff like that. And that's at the very base level of kind of what my job is. It's a lot more intricacies, it's a very cross-functional position. I get to work very closely with engineering,
For
which
sure.
is the team I came from. I work with sales closely. I get to work with marketing closely. It's kind of part of my job ultimately is to kind of have a pulse on the market and kind of feed the direction that we need to go.
Here's what I'm using this year.
Yes, yes,
Or
classics.
let me go this one.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, real classics. I like it.
bro, there's nothing even in here. These are just like, oh my God, I don't even know when this is. I don't even know when this was made. This is like going way back.
Yeah, those are like 70s packaging.
Oh, for sure. So this one's 20 gauge. So this is 2 3/4 inch, 1 ounce sixes.
Yes,
And then
but
this one,
those aren't are
same thing,
those.
1 ounce fours on this one.
Does it say steel on there, or does it say I can't remember on those boxes, or is it lead boxes?
I think this is lead.
Yeah. So what's funny is
Yeah.
I'm a fourth generation employee of Federal Cartridge,
Yeah,
and
you are. This is a cool story. Go ahead.
yeah,
For sure.
so fourth generation. So my grandpa and grandma, my great grandma worked here, my dad works here, and actually my wife works here too, which is
Are you kidding me?
yeah, yep. Um, but my grandpa, worked there for 42 years. He was a ballistics technician, ballistician, and so he had, he's a very particular fellow when it comes to keeping things mint and
I'm
clean.
sure.
And so he has got ammo that goes way back from when he started. He retired in I think 2010, so goes back to basically the 60s, right? And so he's got packaging and stuff that I'll go into his little kind of high value. Not I shouldn't say high value, but his little collector's
Well,
area.
yeah.
He's got a bunch
Yeah.
of cool old packaging that's just mint, and it's awesome. Fully loaded rounds, and it's kind of timeless keepsakes for the family.
For sure. For sure. That's history stuff. That's why I said that's why I keep that stuff around. I mean, I got calls and other stuff that's old, like older than my kids and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
cool to have stuff like that for sure. Because you gotta decorate your man cave with something.
Oh yeah, for sure. Uh,
Hey, let's start on what's new for this year. Um and just kind of go that route because there's always something that listen, there's always something that you guys gotta have new.
no,
All of us. Like everybody's gotta have
always.
something new or everybody's like, oh, they'll forget about us. So
Yeah,
So on your side of things, what's new for you guys? And I'm sure people have already seen it, but it's out.
yeah. So I'd say the big new one in the waterfall space for this year is going to be the Raptor Steel, which we did in collaboration with Rob Roberts.
Yep.
Obviously, you've seen it at Rogers Waterfall Weekend.
Yep.
It's doing really well. Good notoriety behind it. We're super excited for it. And the gist of that is essentially it's an ounce and 3/8. It's nothing really new. A lot of manufacturers or legacy manufacturers have had ounce and 3/8.
Sure.
Years and years ago. But really, by having an ounce and 3/8, just getting like essentially 10% more pellets in your
Right.
payload. So twos, we came out with twos this year. And so, going from 150-ish pellets to closer to 170, 175 pellets. So,
Yep.
if you shoot like me, you need all the pellets you can get. So And it's a good balance of velocity and payload, and we're looking really forward to it. I got the product test some of it snow goose hunting, and it hammers for anybody that's a little hesitant on the speed side. There's obviously a balance, and I'm sure
Right.
you got me on edge by a little bit. You probably used to some of that old steel that was even slower, 1300, 1350.
Oh, for sure.
And so
Yeah.
that's kind of the new big hitter for this year, waterfall. Super excited about that one. Rod's he's we work with Rod closely too, and obviously. So getting his little bit of his DNA on the product is awesome, and it's got a unique green hull which kind of stands out compared. It looks really neon on the screen here, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
got a
neon.
unique look to it as well. Kind of matches
Yeah.
his color scheme. So that's the big one. And then I would say probably the next biggest, which isn't maybe getting the most as much notoriety as I think it should, is 16 gauge black cloud. Not a lot of 16 gauge manufacturers out there, especially in the waterfall space,
Sure.
but I think that's a real cool one. And 16 gauge kind of has that nostalgic heritage of it's kind of the go-to gauge for a long, long time, right? And
Oh,
so
yeah. Oh,
coming up
for
with
sure.
that. And 16 gauge has been cool. I'm gonna try to hunt with it a little bit here this weekend. It's our Minnesota's duck opener this weekend, so that's what I'm
Gotcha.
gonna take out. Let's
Gotcha.
take out the 16 gauge. We did heavy bismuth in 16 gauge and 28 gauge as well. So
Oh, yeah.
kind of
28's
catering.
kind of come strong. Yeah.
Yeah. And now this one you might like. I don't know if you're a big 3.5 inch guy, but UltraSteel in 3.5s. So BB's twos, and then also in 10 gauge, which
Oh,
it
listen, there's still guys that chase that. Listen, because here's
100%.
here's the thing that we could talk about while you're talking about that kind of stuff. There is there's different guys doing chasing different data, right? And what I mean
Oh
by
yeah.
that is there's guys who are chasing speed. There's guys and girls. There's hunters chasing speed. There's hunters chasing pellets, right? How many
Mhm.
pellets? Like, because you were just talking about up in pellets on the Raptor stuff.
Yep.
So, some hunters are chasing pellets. Some are chasing payload. I mean, there's
Shot size. There's all sorts of things.
for, for sure, like, there's so many different things to chase. And everybody always says, like, what's important, right? There's different, like, I don't know, like I'm a speed guy. I want to
Mhm.
stay at my speed, right?
Yep.
Because of my lead, right?
Yep.
So I feel that helps me best, right?
Yep.
I'm
Confidence
not
kills,
a
man.
right. I'm not a pellet guy. I'm not a whatever. I am a speed, and then I feel like 3-inch twos for me, and that speed at 1550 or 1500 to 1550. That's
Yep.
my spot, right?
Yep.
And I think you know hunters can try stuff before the season and get going, but at some point if you're not shooting well or things aren't going well, you have to get in some kind of rhythm. So all that data, like you got to take all that data and find out like what's best for you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I know there's so much anymore, but like you have to do that, or else you're just never going to shoot consistently.
No. And I'm obviously tied up in the data every day at work, so I
For
see all
sure,
the pattern tests.
you see it all.
I see the load development stuff. I get to get a peek behind the curtains, which I know sometimes maybe it hurts me because I'm a gear guy, but I'm a hunter. I like hunting everything with whether it's
Right.
shotguns, rifles, bows. I try to do it all. I like it all. Um, but being a gear guy, I get into the data sometimes, and I feel like I get paralysis by analysis to some degree. But what I
Right.
found, from any of my setups, whether I'm hunting big game with the rifle, my archery stuff, and even my shot shell stuff now, I'm looking for a I like a happy medium balance of it all, whether it's shot size, the pellet count, the velocity, and for
Right.
me, like I'll be up front for the longest time. I was a blue box 142, an ounce and a quarter, 1450 number threes, guys. For whatever reason, I felt like I was shooting more ducks. And
Yeah.
now I've transitioned a little bit in shot and I've become a better shot. So that obviously helps too. But for the
Yeah,
longest time, I was confident in that load. That's all I use for ducks. No geese, I would jump up to geese. But with that said, like I said, to go back, it's that confidence kills. And so whatever you're
for
confident
sure.
with, just keep shooting that. Like, obviously, anytime I can, pitch UltraSteel or Black Cloud or Raptor Steel, like I'm gonna, because I do think that there's advantages to those. But
There's no doubt.
if Speed-Shok is your load, don't switch. Don't switch. You don't need to,
You know,
So there's always more than one way to skin a cat per se. And,
there's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Confident.
I do, like when we're shooting video and we're shooting the episodes of the last pass and we got to do that. And it's like no one wants to watch a bunch of hunters miss on a video, right?
No,
Or cripple stuff or do stuff. So, and I'm
no,
not saying it doesn't happen on there because it does. But
that's
what I'm
part of the
saying
game.
is, when I'm looking at a situation on what we're gonna do, like okay, we're gonna shoot ducks in close. Like you can't kill them any more dead with whatever we're shooting. So we'll go with blue box, or we shoot like maybe the stacked ultra steel, or we do something like that.
Yep.
Like we don't have to go overkill. But when it counts and when you need something, like you said, to pull out of your bag, like, okay, we're up in Saskatchewan and, there's cranes and honkers in a field, or there's just big honkers and it's later in the season and they're a lot tougher and they got a good skin on them, or we're shooting divers, right?
Mhm.
Like you have to look at the situation and go, okay, I better bump up to Black Cloud, or like Ultra Steel and go, do a fat stack of, heavy load. You got to do something else because this isn't just gonna like fully cut it. And
Right.
I got to think guys are, all hunters are looking at it the same way. And of course, it's what you can afford and what you go buy
Oh
and do
yeah,
all that stuff. Like we don't have
of
to get
course.
into all that. Like, yes, there's different levels, but you get what you pay for. So
Yeah,
I got to think there's a tool for everything. And that's how I try to use that.
yeah,
That's why when I talk about it, I go, listen, they have everything for whatever you're chasing. You know what I
right.
mean? Like there
And we take
really
a lot of
is.
pride in that.
Yeah. I mean, you name it. Like, we go up to Canada and it's like you don't know what we're going to get into. We always go late in the season. We never know what we're going to like. There might be snow still there. The cranes might be still lagging around. There might be a couple. We might get a pile of ducks. We might get lessers. We might get snows. We might get specks. Like, so I mean, heck, we might take a day off and go walk the roads and shoot some grouse and you need 410, right? So
Right.
it's like, so I always take 410 one. So it's like you don't know what's going to go on. So I think you truly have to be ready for anything. And that goes throughout the season. Like I always bump up, like you said, or I should say bump down in, pellet size if I'm shooting geese. I'm going to go to a black cloud and I might go to BBs or I might stay at twos, but
Yep.
I'm also just not like grabbing a box and going, "Hey, I'll try this morning," and I never shot it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I think that's a huge mistake. Have you we've all seen that. Like I think that's a huge mistake that guys are making, hunters are making is, haven't shot it, gonna grab it, gonna go try it. And
Mm-hmm.
and I mean you could do that for sure, but you don't know what the outcome's gonna be.
That's right.
I mean, you're a data guy, so I mean that sounds like a total giant no-no to do that. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm gonna stop at the store the night before and I'm just gonna go, yeah, let's try this.
Yeah. And I always do tell people, so you should pattern your guns, not just to go waste ammo and go buy more, but you should get a feel of what
For
your
sure.
gun throws, because at the end of the day, too, it's we try to build product that's robust enough to get similar
Yep.
pattern densities across the board on any platform. There's always going to be that relationship to your choke, your gun, and your ammo. There's a whole marriage there that you got to kind of balance. And so, if you're a really good shooter and you're on them all the time, like it doesn't hurt to have a little tighter choke. And that's another
Right.
thing. I don't want to derail where I was going, but it's like I'm of the mentality like pick a choke and
For
stick
sure.
to it.
So am I.
Like swapping them out all the time, like it can get. I mean, maybe for some shooters, obviously, they're good enough where they can open it up or tighten it up based on what the situation is.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, like I'm like a improved mod type guy. Whether it's a Raptor, like I'm a big R2 Roberts R2 guy.
Right.
But
Right.
I shoot Carlson's. I've shot just about every choke on the
Everything.
market.
Sure.
And so, but I'm one where I like to try to pick a pretty consistent constriction and just get to know my gun. Because like sometimes you're hopping ammo, oh, it doesn't fit as good, but at the same time you got to learn your gun a little bit too. So
There's no doubt. Listen, you know, I've been screaming about this for years and in seminars and going to places and talking to people and you know, you know, and listen, hunters always ask like, hey, what do you use or what are you doing? Like that question always comes up. So it's like, I always go like, listen, this is what I use.
yeah,
This is what I'm comfortable with, but this is also what I've shot for a long time. So I'm used to it. You know, you talk to a you talk to a baseball player who is a good hitter, and this is what I do. And if something's going wrong, this is what I do. Like they have all their, let's say, progressions
yep,
all lined up. And I have my progressions lined up. Like you were talking chokes. Like, so if we're shooting big geese or cranes, that's probably the only time I'll change my choke and try to get a little tighter. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
If I'm going to shoot, because I want to be right on. I want pellet count on target. I want to be a little
Yep,
tighter, and I want headshots because I don't want cripples, especially on the cranes. Like you're talking about a little bit of action if you have a live crane or a
yeah,
crippled crane. Like you're asking for trouble.
oh yeah,
So so I will totally do that. But that's the only time of the year that I'll do that. But I've shot that, you know what I mean? So I'm
yep,
familiar with it again, right? So I know what I got to do. And listen, it might take me a couple shots to get right back on, you know what I mean? But it's not going to take me like all morning and nothing happens good,
yeah,
right? So I think that consistency, and I think like you doing your homework, going through stuff and listen, some guys just don't care. Like, I get it. Like, hey, I'm just grabbing a couple boxes, or I grab this case and I shoot
yep,
okay, and I kill a couple ducks, or I kill a couple. Like, bro, go for it. Like, whatever's your
yeah,
deal. Like, I'm good with it. And then there's
yeah,
the scientists who go down to I need to be at this weight. The dram needs to be here, and I need to be 1 1/4, and I can't be here, or I can't be whatever. Like,
yep,
there's a lot of science in it, and there's a ton of it if you really want to be in it. Like you can go the rabbit hole, like you can go down
oh yeah,
far.
yep. I've been there.
You know, I I've I've been consistent with Blue Box and a Pattern Master and the gun that I shoot from Weatherby, and I stay consistent.
Yep,
And I think, like you say, confidence, right? I think confidence and consistency kills no matter what it is. Like you find whatever it is. Like you say, you're going to shoot a Rob Roberts, and then you're going to shoot the Raptor Load or Black Hawk or whatever. Like what one's going to do what. So you're in your zone. So that's consistency. And then you're confident because you are shooting birds. And you also know your limits too. You know what
oh
I
yeah,
mean? I know how far out if we're shooting ducks and one's getting out, like I know if I can take that shot on the way out, if he's hit once and I know I could back up somebody and I know how far that is, and I just go, I could do it. But there's other times like on snows, and you know this, like on snows, it's
Oh
like
yeah.
they're not playing, they're messing around, they're you think they're gonna make one last turn, and then they don't, and then you're like the next group are like, maybe we got to take them tall. And listen, there has been times I will confess that birds are coming in, and everybody's like, you want to try them, and I'm going. And I'm like, if you guys want to try them, like, go ahead. And then
Yeah.
everybody stands up and nobody cuts a feather. And I'm sitting there just going, like, I know I'm not going to kill anything at that range, right?
Yeah.
So I'm literally sitting on my hands and I just watch everybody else. And maybe somebody sails one or they cut a feather, but it's not
That's
good.
about it. Yeah.
But I know after years of, like you said, shooting, what I'm used to shooting,
Yeah.
how far I'm used to shooting, and I'm sitting that out. Like
Yeah.
am I up for wasting shells? Like I'm up for shooting for sure. But like wasting shells, I get to the point where I'm just like I'm just wasting them at that point because I already know.
Yeah.
And then that kills your confidence. Because if you stand up and
Exactly.
run it dry on three and don't cut a feather, you're like, what's the next group going to be like? And I'm not
Right.
saying don't try if you want to. I'm just saying don't be bothered. Maybe you're going to have to
Right.
shake it off, right?
Oh, that's one of the main things I've noticed in my, like over the last 6 years or so of hunting. I used to chase waterfowl hard, 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 and it was more of that bloodlust stage in my career of waterfowl hunting, where it's
Yeah,
just run it dry every time, just about. And now it's like I just know it's not going to help my confidence, and there's very little chance it's a clean kill, and you're going to
right,
sail one off into the cattails, or you're going to sail one across the field. If you don't
right,
got a good dog, like low
for sure.
probability. I don't like, I'm very attuned to rules and regulations. And if I wound one and cripple one, it comes towards my bag as it should, right? And so
Yep.
I'd rather have a bird in the hand than one in the bush, right?
Well,
So
listen,
like I just don't take those shots anymore because I don't like crippling them and not finding them. That's not, it doesn't make me feel good and it doesn't help my confidence. And
well, being the guy with the dog, right?
yeah,
I'm the guy chasing everybody's cripples.
yeah,
So,
you get twice as
do
many
I want,
steps in.
do I want more cripples? No. Does the dog want more cripples? Maybe.
Yeah,
He probably enjoys that part. Like, okay.
maybe not
So,
on the fifth day, but the first few days, anyways.
but I don't. And it's just like, and then the other thing is, listen, you're out of the blind. You got to walk wherever you're screwing up, everybody else
Oh
hunting
yeah,
because, you have to walk straight out front, obviously. So now everybody's got to hold off on shooting. And then however long it takes. And like you said, I mean, I have the dogs, so I have the street sweeper. So now it's my job to do everything I can to find the cripples. So,
yeah,
because we don't want to just leave birds, like that's your whole ethical thing. So I'm not trying to do that. So then it's like, and then it's like, I'm in a duck club and this whole routine, and I'll say, okay, we got to shoot better, like after the first or second go, or I'm just going to say, hey, we're going to take closer shots, and I'm going to call it a little closer or whatever, because I
yeah,
can't be doing this all day.
yeah,
It's not helping us. It's not helping everybody's confidence. And if you've guided hunters or done stuff, like I've done the same thing. Like the last thing you want to do is call far shot, have a bunch of guys miss, and then that's in their head all day. Like, no, we're there to have fun. You want to get them
yeah,
as close as you can. And
yeah.
it's like,
Finishing them is fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
I, I'll share a good story. So I'm at a seminar one time, and it's here in Oregon, and obviously we got big river systems here, right? So we got the Columbia, which is giant,
Mhm.
and somebody says, uh, like, how comfortable are you, like sending your dog really far on birds on the river? And I was like, and I was kind of like, I kind of was taken back, and I'm like, comfortable. And I'm like, I'm trying to think. I'm like, what? Like he's asking me like how comfortable I am like sending the dog on like something far because you got the tide. I mean, you could be by the shipping channel. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, and then like the light bulb just went off, and I go, well, I don't really send them that far. I said we try to kill stuff like right in the deep points, and I kind of came off like as a jerk, but it was
Yeah.
like that's really what we're trying to do because I won't take those far shots on a place like that has tide going out
Yeah.
or coming in, whichever way. The dog could be taken out with the tide, and then we gotta jump out. We gotta get the boat untied. We gotta grab some brush, and we gotta hurry up and get on plane and go get the dog or go chase the bird. Like that to me is an absolute waste. So I was like, well, we don't do it because I don't want to spend like I don't want to untie the boat and take some brush off and take the motor cover off, and I don't want to do that like every third bird.
Right. 'Cause you're gonna end up with less birds because you're not there. You're messing it up. Right.
All that,
Yep.
all that. So it's like
So there's
I
always
would
going to be the
rather,
one-off, right? The exception where it was just a
yeah,
bad
for
shot and it
sure,
was close.
for sure.
But
I'm not
you
saying
got
it
to
doesn't
increase your
happen,
odds.
right? But I would, like you said, I would rather sit, work them in close, shoot them, try to keep them right here, and then the dog's got easy retrieves, 25, 30 yards, like done and back, and we're all good. You know what I mean? And if we got to
Yeah.
pull a boat and we got to chase one, if it's really going with the tide or whatever, then we're set. But it's like, but that goes for like anything. Like the more time you spend outside and don't have clean kills, you know what I mean? The less time you're like hunting and having a good time, and
100%.
yeah, and it's like I don't know. I mean, that's gotta like I know guys are just out to have fun and do stuff, but you got to look at a point like, let's maximize our fun today. You know what
No,
I
yeah.
mean? So we're not chasing birds, we're not doing like, so it doesn't take much to be dialed in with your shotgun, choke, shell. Like you said, a little bit of patterning to see what's on the board, how you feel, shooting some clays, to get ready for the
Yeah.
season, you know, like I would rather and I'm like a live flyer person more so. And what I mean by that is I'd rather go to like a blueberry farm and shoot starlings for the farmer or go shoot pigeons or
Yeah.
go shoot something that truly flies instead
Yeah.
of just shooting clays. Like I've been big on that for a long time
Yeah.
because like I get it. Clay targets, if that's all you can do, like yeah, it comes out and it goes. Like starlings are dipping and diving and so
No,
are
yeah.
pigeons. And if you go shoot doves, like obviously the dove warm up is awesome for everybody.
Yeah.
So all that comes into play, you know, going down the road through the season. And once again, we go back to that consistency and confidence. Like
Oh,
it
yeah.
it is.
I would say, not to go back, like I agree with you what you're saying 100%. Like, but on the clay target side, like when I started shooting sporting plays, which is more different angles, different types of presentations, my upland and waterfall hunting went my proficiency in the field went through the roof better. Right. And that's, I don't always start gun down. A lot of times I'm pre-shouldered, but sometimes you
Sure,
don't know where they're coming from. So it is
sure,
more instinctive shooting. So, that would be one piece of advice. If you don't have access to, going to shoot pigeons or doves or whatever, like go shoot some knowledge sporting plays before the season. You'll note that some of those birds are coming out pretty damn fast, and there's some long targets that
for sure.
help kind of hone you in. And there's a pile of close ones. We call them teal, and there's all sorts of different names for the different presentations. But
Right.
it's I would say
It's rhythm.
spend more time practicing, like on plays or doves or pigeons, low cost
Yeah.
stuff, and you're going to see improvements in the field for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's practice no matter what it is, and it's rhythm. I always talk about you got to be in a rhythm because because clays, you're in a rhythm, right?
Yeah,
You're like ready to go wherever the fire's coming from. Like you're ready to go. It's pull. They come out. You go. Whatever. Like it is a rhythm that you get into. It is a rhythm, and it is consistency and consistency and rhythm that all falls into place down the road. And as you keep going, it's getting better. And listen,
Yeah.
everybody's going to go through a lull or a bad shooting
Yeah.
section, whether it's a couple times or once or whatever through the season. And when that happens, like there'll be somebody I hunt with that kind of gets in, and I'm not saying I don't because I do. But then I kind of refocus and I have a whole thing that I do. But what I tell them is like, okay, uh, I'll watch them and see what they do. And it's like sometimes I think uh, they like get super focused, like almost too focused, and it's like, and they're thinking like, I got to get the gun, and I got to get the gun up, and I got to get it, and I got to get ahead of
Less
the bird, and I got to
instinct.
do, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it's just like, no, 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 like just wait and just literally pick the gun up and shoot it, like literally pick the gun up and kill the bird, like just do it because that's what you were doing before. You weren't thinking about it. You weren't concentrating on your lead and how far I got to be. You were just in a rhythm. Like that's what was going good. And then something got in your head and like derailed the whole thing, right?
Yep.
So, that's my advice, on somebody that gets in a slump. And if you get in a slump, try it because it's just like, and I tell everybody like don't hold the gun and don't hold it like this and you're just ready. Like just put the gun down and literally just like pull up literally just pull up and shoot. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. Like that's all I want you to do. Like, let me get my emails out of here. I was getting emails.
No, you're good.
Um, just literally like wherever you put the gun in the blind, just so it's in where it's, maybe you just keep your
Yeah.
hand on it or it's within reach and literally just grab it and get up and shoot.
Yeah.
And it'll all you won't be thinking about anything. It'll just be back to normal. It'll just be back to your rhythm. And hopefully that's what it'll go back to instinct and you'll just be
Yep.
like, and all you gotta do is shoot that one bird, and then you're like,
Yeah. I mean, how many times has it been where, birds are working, they're coming in and, let's say it's a 10 pack mountain, whatever it is, right? You
yeah,
guys, it's that wait, 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 and you kill two, it's five. And it's like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden, two teal will buzz you. And it's like, holy shit, you just grab and shoot, and you guys get them both, and it's like, how? It goes back to that instinct.
yeah,
One of the things I think, and this is something that I've historically struggled with is you get like big watermelons or big water geese. Goes back to that flock shooting, like holy, they're all
sure,
here. How can I miss? And then you don't get basically anything out of the volley. And then all of a sudden you can go down your row and your blinds or on your A-frames or whatever you got. And it's like any person can shoot a single.
yes,
Easy. But then a whole flock comes in and everybody gets in that flock shooting mentality. And so being able to kind of stay in your lane, shoot your lane,
yep,
right? And then
there's no doubt.
focus on a singular bird, right? And that's
That's
that's like the only thing that I have to remind myself to think about, shouldering the gun, head down. Like I don't think about that. The small thing I need to worry about is like pick a bird and just stay on that one whether they're circling or they're decoying. Just try to stay in your lane and pick the one that makes most sense to you. And that I
yeah,
feel like always gets more birds on.
yeah, everybody talks about like deer fever and like you're on the rifle
Oh yeah,
and the deer comes out and you got him in the scope and you're just thinking it's big deer, it's your first deer, it's just a deer, like whatever,
yeah.
doesn't
Whatever,
matter, right?
whatever's making your heart sick.
Like you're going like so I think the whole duck fever or goose fever or whatever you want to call it is exactly what you're talking about. It's like sensory overload. It's a
Yep.
big group coming and you're so excited because it's a huge group and you can't put your finger on one bird. And I know it's hard in the time, but like you said, that's literally exactly what you have to do. You have to just go, okay, the group is awesome. Like maybe they come a couple passes. Like I always tell everybody, like enjoy the show until
Oh
it's
yeah,
time. Like
it's
enjoy
the
it. You don't
best
have to
part.
like, you don't have to like go crazy and go, I got to pick a bird. I got to pick a bird. Like just watch it and then and then it's like, hey, we're going to take them on this path. So now they just came in front, they just went out, and you're like, okay, now I got to focus. Now they turn, now they start coming, and it's like you're looking, and they start, they're doing this. There's some on
They're
the top and
dancing.
some on the bottom, and then it's
Yep.
like they're just about to center up, and you're like, that one right there, and you
Yeah.
just wait, and then you just start. So
Oh,
like
dude.
what I always do, I'm selfish. I wait. I watch what's going on, and as they're coming, and if whether I'm calling it or somebody else is calling it, as soon as they call it, then everybody starts, and then I just go. Well, I wait for the madness to start, and then see where they're going, see where the escapees are trying to get
Good
out, and I
strategy.
just go that one.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that because like me and my good buddy that he got me into waterfowl hunting when we were in middle school, and my best bud, uh, me and him are like the most, I would say, savvy waterfowl hunters.
Yeah,
So when we get birds working, we're basically always looking for the same thing, whether it's you know the perfect plumed out widgeon. But a lot of
sure.
times we're like fighting over the pintails, and like we used to call them out, but now over the years it's more of a competition to
Keep it quiet.
see who can spot the pintail in the flock. So we try to cherry pick it. There's times where it's on either side, right? I'm not going to shoot across lanes and try to
Sure,
shoot at it.
sure, sure.
But yeah, it's funny because we try to do stuff like that. It's fun.
Well, and that's what makes it fun, and that's what makes it cool. Uh, but here's another thing that I was gonna just touch on. Like, as soon as you said that, that first thing came to mind. If you have a hunting partner or two that you consistently hunt with, also the more that you guys hunt together, the more you guys get into a rhythm as far
Oh
as
yeah,
like as a group, right? Because like you said, you're not going this way or you're going to shoot your lane, but you also know, you know, like I'm not the first guy to shoot, and I'm never the guy that's shooting the closest bird. Like ever since I guided, that changed my whole perspective when I guided and I had a back cleanup, and then I'm taking people, or I have, customers or partners
yeah,
or people we're taking or contest winners, like I'm not shooting the ones with their feet down
the
right in the
cherries,
hole.
yeah.
Never. Like I've never done that unless like it's two of us in the boat and it's my turn and it's feet down and like
Yeah,
that's me.
that's different
Perfect.
story. Yeah. Well, I've also found too there must be a thing because we all talk about shooting lanes, but for whatever reason, right? You get a mess of birds decoying, and it's inevitable that the closest ones everybody's eyes are attracted to, and so
Sure.
three guys would shoot at the same bird, and you get less out of your volley because of that, right? You just wasted
There's no
shells
doubt.
on the chip birds. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm always trying to pick ones out on the either the far edge or they're a little taller or a little further out. The non-obvious ones is the ones I'm thinking for.
There's
And
there's
that's
no
maybe some
doubt.
selfishness because I want to know if I hit stuff. Like, yeah, it's fun to wreck into a big flock and have a big rain out, but it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I killed anything. It could have been three of us shooting at the same damn birds. And so, like,
Well,
part of me is like the confidence side. It's like, I like to know that I'm getting my limit too.
well, like just like you say that, like okay, there's a bunch of us, say there's eight of us, and we got a big group, and a whole big wad comes in, and it's a big rain out, and there's always a couple guys. I got that one. I got that one. I'm like, but I don't know because like I'm shooting. I'm not watching you shoot. We could be at the same bird, same time. Like that
Every
happens
time.
all the time.
Oh,
So,
it's
you know, and it's
hard
just
to.
like, I'm just, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that like the whole drawing, short straws for bands and stuff. Like
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
I'm like, if I didn't know I cleaned it, if it wasn't me, like that band means nothing to me. Like, yeah, they're cool, but
for
it's
sure.
like unless it was on the way outside and I was on
Yep.
that side, then I'll
Yep.
put my name in the hat. But
Yep.
if it's eight guys and the dog brought it back and nobody knows what bird it picked up, I'm like, keep my name out of there. Like let somebody
I'm
else
good.
that's gonna
Yeah.
appreciate it. It means nothing to me, right?
Yeah. I know my limits. I know my limits. So I kind of stay out of those as well. And it's like if that was like way off to the right or left and I wasn't there or what, if I wasn't involved in it, like for sure, come out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. So I just, I just bail out of those. Yeah, I'm not in that. I'm not in that for that either.
It's
I'd
fun. Don't
rather,
get me wrong. Like I
oh
like
yeah,
being a part of the excitement, but it's like having on my lanyard and I did probably didn't shoot it. It's
like last year we were in Canada, and for some reason up there, Tyler and those guys, the whole year they shot like five different snow lesser crosses last year. They shot five of them, and
that's cool.
we shot one. We shot one, and I never saw it. My distributor from Iceland, the Viking, who's always on the shows.
Yeah.
Um,
Was Compton was there with you, right?
yeah, Dan was with
Yeah,
us.
he sent me a
So
photo of that bird. Yeah.
yeah, so we were on that lesser grind, and they were sketchy and punchy all day, and a couple groups centered up, and then a couple would like kind of skirt us, and so there was a group that was coming over, and Tyler's like, do you guys want to try these, see if we could bump out a couple? And they weren't tall, and I literally had the dogs, so I was like, well, they were marginal to me, so I was like, I'm not going to shoot, so I literally just put the gun down, and I was watching to see where everything went, and I never saw that bird. But the Viking was like, he picked that out on like the second turn and never took his eye off it, and he it came over and he shot it dead as a hammer. And and the thing about it is, only one other person, I think there was eight of us, only one other person saw it, but it wasn't in their lane to shoot, so they didn't shoot it. So I knew it was
Yeah.
him. But the whole thing about it was, you know, he saw it, he focused on it, he pulled out.
Yeah.
He's a great shot for sure. But it's stuff like that. Like, I never saw it. I didn't know what
Yeah.
they were talking about. He was all jumping up and down, and I'm like, okay, you killed the
Yeah.
goose, like, and I'm of course busting balls, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, great, bro, you killed a goose. Like, I'm happy for you. He's like, no, wait do you see it? I'm like, okay. And then we see it, and we're like, holy crap. So
Yeah. Super cool.
yeah. So stuff like that happens, and he is for sure laser focused and stuff like that. And it's happened to me on a collar here, where it's like, there's like 600-700 cacklers, and they start doing the circle.
Doing the spin. Yeah.
Somebody else collar, and I'm like, holy crap, there it is. So I see it, and now you're trying to now you're trying to keep track of that in the wave.
Yep.
So it was like the first spin, they saw it, and then the second turn I saw it, and I was like, holy crap. Then it got lost in the bunch, and then they bumped up a little bit, and then they came back around. I was like, I lost it. And they're like, everybody's like, I lost it. And literally they make a turn, and I don't know how this happens, but literally the first couple that had feet down and were just about landing in the decoys, like two guys touched off. Nobody said anything. It was like the first one to come in, and I never saw it because I was looking through the
You're
group.
looking up top.
Never saw it. So the two guys who shot, and believe it or not, they only killed that bird, and then everybody else started shooting. I didn't even shoot because it caught me off guard. But so they shot a couple other birds, but those two guys. So the cool thing about it is it had a collar and a band. So they just said, "You take the collar, you take the band." So they split it because they didn't know who
Oh,
killed it,
easy. Yeah. Yeah.
because they totally saw it at the same time and just like dumped them. One shot, both of
Yeah.
them just stone dead. And
Yeah.
cattlers aren't super big, so you can dump one of those no problem. Especially like
Yeah.
we were tight, we were like 25 yards. It
Oh,
was it
yeah.
was easy. So,
Stone.
but it's not as easy as you think when they start doing that and they get mixed in. It's not like
Yeah.
anything else. Same with the snows. Like,
Yeah.
good luck picking out something like that.
Yeah, those
Ain't
things are
happening.
shifting all over and bouncing up and down.
Yeah. And
Good
now they're
stuff.
putting the white collars on the snows, and then the black collars on the honkers, and all the
Mm-hmm.
Canada's like, oh yeah, it's getting pretty wild. So
Too
that
much
that puts
poaching
a
with
twist.
22s, I suppose.
Huh?
Too much poaching with 22s are easy to pick out.
Yeah, and I think they also know, that guys are going to target them no matter what. So
Yes.
so they're looking like the cattler collars here are yellow. So we used to have a lot of blue lesser collars, and I haven't seen a blue lesser collar in forever. And then there's also a subspecies here out here where we can't shoot. It's a dusky Canada goose,
Hmm.
and they did a study a long time at Oregon State, and they put green collars on them. And I think somebody said I was talking to somebody last year. I think somebody said they shot the last supposed green collar like a couple of years ago. So that bird had to be like I think 15 years old
Ooh,
plus.
it's getting old.
So it was a study a long time ago. I don't want to be quoted on that, but it said it was pretty old. And
Yeah.
then they started putting on red collars so you could see them. So you're
Yeah.
like, don't
Not
shoot.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the yellow ones, we're still seeing a fair amount of those. You could see them good, but like I said, they started changing all the colors. So maybe that'll help because I think the studies were getting a little skewed, because
Oh
you
yeah, these
go,
guys are targeted.
because I remember somebody telling me in Michigan that if when they got to a certain, they were saying, okay, so this collar, like for every one collar shot, there's say 500 geese or 1,000 geese shot or something. And it's like if you reported so many collars to a certain point, bands, they would be like, okay, we're going to shut the season down because we harvested too many, which isn't the case. You know what I mean? So that was a tough one. I remember reading that, and then guys were saying, I'm not calling it in.
Yeah.
I'm not shutting down the goose season.
No.
So, but
I
I
think it's
think,
more of just like they're for tracking purposes, right? They just want to see where they're migrating to and
yeah,
from and doing stuff
yeah.
like that. That's why, like,
So,
for me to go like band hunt early season birds, it's like
yeah,
I would never do it because first of all, like it's not that cool to me to shoot one in my backyard that
no,
got banned. I want to shoot one from
I know,
Nunavut or you
I
know
know, I know.
somewhere that's a 6 year old band or something. I want it to be a surprise. I don't want to go
Yeah,
shoot
and
hatchling birds that just got banned 3 weeks ago.
well, and the other thing is I want that bird to make some travels, so we literally
Yeah, you
get
get
some
data.
info off it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody gets
So
smarter.
yeah, I mean, and listen, guys could do whatever they want if you want to get some
No,
bands. Like I get it, like I totally get it. But I'm also cool with like tracking them and seeing where they goes. You can see all this other stuff. It's pretty cool.
yeah.
And a couple weeks ago, I had on Paul Waite from Delta Waterfowl,
Oh yeah, I know
and
Paul.
oh my God, dude, he was going through numbers and like the way because I was so concerned about us shooting three pintails this year, especially for us out here.
Yep.
Because when December 1st hits or right around there, like we could shoot, I could go every day and I'm not saying like automatically, but if I sit there, I could shoot three pintails every day for 60 days easy.
Yeah.
Like not a problem. So, and he's like, well, some of the numbers were off. Like the studies, like technology has gotten better. Like it was a whole conversation. It was incredible. It was
Mm-hmm.
incredible. And he laid a stat on me, which I don't know if you've heard it, but he said, this is going to blow your mind because us as hunters, and I know you've heard this since you were young, like we have to watch what we're doing, and we do,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like don't shoot the hands, like do what you can. Like you can shoot hands, it's in the rule book, like you could shoot two or whatever, it's in the rule
Yeah.
book. Like just so we're doing all that we can. So he says he lays this percent on me that 90%, it was actually 91% of mortality in ducks happens from April, May to like July.
Yeah.
So he said, now I'm not saying everybody just go wild this fall and just rip everything, but he was like, the amount of mortality that happens on the nest when they're nesting, like all that
Probably
has
molting, all that.
everything to
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes
So,
sense. Yeah. It just shows companies have pretty little impact as a
so
whole.
it is absolutely insane. So then I get into a whole conversation. It's like, well, then you better get the rifles out and start cleaning up the predators. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like let's talk
Yeah.
rifle ammo, right? So now it's like let's go.
Yeah.
So
That is
so
a big thing. Raptors, all of it.
and I think that's the thing that I don't think gets pushed hard enough is the whole predator control side. And no
Mm-hmm.
matter where you are, you have local ducks. You know what I
Oh,
mean? I don't care what state you're in, right? You have local ducks because I know I have them here and I know that we push the predator side pretty good. You know what I mean? Like obviously coyotes out by us and some other predators, like you can hunt them all year. And we try to, you know, but you know me on the crows and whatever. I will shoot a crow. I don't care if a big group of ducks are coming and crows come over. I'm totally taking them out because
those one.
they are awful on nests.
Yeah,
So I am like 100% going to clean every one of those up. So I think everybody needs to start really thinking about that too,
yeah,
because that percentage like blew me away. Like I never heard that number. That's that's so high. I can't even believe that's real, but it's real.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was interesting. When I was in college, I actually went to school for biology and chemistry. That's kind of how I got my foot in the door here at Federal. Was on the chemistry side, but for a long time, I wanted to be like a conservation officer or a biologist. Working in the outdoor space. Um, Things that shifted, obviously. But I remember one of the grad students at the time presented to one of our classes, and his whole master's thesis was on mesopredator control.
Right.
It's talking about the skunks, the raccoons, the fox.
Sure.
You know,
Yep.
the smaller animals that are actively seeking out nests and nesting
Yep.
pens versus,
Yep.
obviously coyotes are hard, and
For
it's
sure.
depending on where you're at. But
Yeah.
some of those other species are actively searching for these nests, right?
Yes.
And so that was the first time it came to my mind, or that I was enlightened. Like, hey, you got to
Yeah.
do your part on some of these smaller trappers are a big influence on duck populations.
For sure. And look at that, look at that tradition and how much trapping we're losing. I mean, there used to be an enormous amount of trapping.
Oh yeah,
Obviously, like fur was, prices were better and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. Like everybody I'm talking to, I'm like, hey, like we gotta lean more on the predator side, and that goes for everything. You know what I mean? Like I'm excited this year to like chase a little bit more of those, because here we could hunt at night, which is
yep,
freaking incredible, which is a whole other like awesome thing. Uh, but I need to, I've told all my guys that I go with, I'm like, hey, we need to kind of press this a little harder this year
yep,
because that percentage and that number to me is like insane. So we gotta push harder for sure.
yep.
So the rifle ammo is stocked, bro.
We make it.
You you make all kind of stuff for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. All right. Josh Vickers from Federal, bro. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the season. Like, hope you guys have a blast. If you need something from
Oh
me,
yeah.
I'm here, buddy.
Sounds good. Likewise.
If you need another gun, I'm here. I'm for hire.
Okay. All right.
All right. If you want to check out their stuff, all you got to do is go to the Federal website.
Yep.
You can freaking, like, oh my God, you can find every bit of information that you need. Uh, you guys are pretty hardcore on the info, as you should
Mm-hmm.
be, and the data. So if you're looking for something, and listen, like we talked about before, if you're in between buying something or you don't know what shell to use this year, like
Yep.
literally, I tell guys, go to the store, grab one box of whatever else you want to try, a couple, it's cool if there's a couple guys like, hey, you and a couple guys in your hunting party, everybody buy a box of something different and everybody try a couple shells out of it and see what everybody likes, see whose gun and choke likes this. If you're set on your guns and chokes, and just go through a bunch of ammo and see like, hey, I like this. Oh, I like this one. That's the thing to do.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah. For sure. And I'd always say too, we have a really good technical service team. They're all hunters and shooters. They know the products. Like, don't be afraid to call that tech service hotline,
Sure.
and they'll
Sure.
definitely point you in the right direction.
Yeah. All right, folks, if you want to hit us up, fabrand.com. If you want to check out the YouTube series, you can do that. Go to our YouTube channel. Hit us up on social. We got everything. You could like, subscribe, see us, hate us, comment, whatever you want to do. We're there. We're there. Customer service is there too. We're always looking at that, making sure we're good. So that's the FA podcast for today. I want to thank Loophole, Rogers Sporting Goods, of course, Weatherby, and of course, Josh and everybody at Federal Ammunition. Appreciate you guys checking it out today. That is the FA podcast.